Why does she suddenly text you after walking away? Why does she come back after rejecting you? Is it guilt, regret, or something deeper? Welcome to the truth no one tells you. This isn't about games, it's about stoic power, self-worth, and how energy shifts when you stop chasing. Have you ever felt invisible only to become irresistible the moment you let go? Suppose you've asked, why now? This video is your answer. Brace yourself, because once you understand this, you'll never see rejection or her return the same again. Let's dive in. 1. Power of detachment. You see, most men are conditioned to chase after rejection. The moment a woman walks away, they reaches out, questions themselves, replays conversations, and drowns in what-ifs. But real strength doesn't come from reaction. It comes from detachment. When a woman rejects you and you respond with calm acceptance rather than emotional desperation, everything changes. You shift the emotional dynamic completely. She expects the text. She expects the begging. She expects the "I miss you" and "what did I do wrong?" But when that doesn't come, when all she gets is silence, you become a mystery. And mystery is magnetic. A study from Frontiers in Psychology showed that 68% of women admitted they found themselves more drawn to someone who stopped pursuing them emotionally. Why? Because that pullback reflects emotional self-sufficiency. It says, I respect myself more than your opinion of me. That is not coldness. That is silent confidence. And whether she understands it logically or not, she feels it. Detachment is not pretending not to care. It's about truly realizing that your worth doesn't depend on someone's temporary interest or rejection. When you embrace that belief, your entire vibe shifts. You stop radiating desperation and start radiating peace. And peace in a chaotic emotional world is rare. It's rare and it's powerful. According to a relationship recovery survey, 72% of men who practiced emotional withdrawal and focused on personal growth reported that their ex eventually reconnected with them. Not because they begged, but because their energy transformed. That's not manipulation. That's natural polarity. When a woman feels that you are no longer emotionally dependent on her attention, when she senses that her absence doesn't rattle your spirit, her curiosity spikes. She begins to wonder, wait, did I make a mistake? But here's the key. Detachment must be real. You can't fake it. Women are emotionally intuitive, and they will smell the difference between true peace and forced silence. That's why Stoicism matters. Stoicism isn't about killing emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about knowing that feelings are like weather, they come, they go, but you remain rooted. And when you embody that, when you become a man who doesn't need to prove his worth through chasing, she feels your value without you even speaking. Think about it. How many times have you found that the more effort you gave, the more someone pulled away? But then, the moment you stopped, the moment you genuinely let go, they returned. That's because emotional chasing repels, while emotional detachment attracts. This isn't game playing, it's energy. And energy doesn't lie. Women are naturally drawn to men who are emotionally stable, calm, and focused. By detaching from and reframing the essential parts of your own life, you, in effect, show others a silent but powerful indication that screams, I am complete already. Fullness attracts, neediness repels. The power of detachment talks about the wisdom to keep doing for those who underappreciate you. It's a reality that you should face and not fight against. Additionally, it is the most significant of all to know that henceforth, you will control the reactions of not only others, but mostly yourself. When you get the point, you will no longer feel rejected. You will look at it as a redirection to something or somebody that can be better for your growth. Those strange occurrences where the people who pushed you away actually turn back to you are quite illustrative. It's then that they send those, hey, how have you been? Messages, the random likes on your stories, the sudden interest after weeks or months of silence. Yes, it is your behavior to your detached qualities. However, here is the ironic part related to the whole situation. When they come back, you might have grown beyond them. You have shifted to another level. You have set the bar higher for yourself. Now your peace is non-negotiable. And with that evolution, no one is entitled to your attention as they used to be back in the days when they were only faking it. Ergo, Your detachment wasn't to win them back. It was a catch-up with your old self. That's when the real power was established. Your story might help someone else who's hurting right now. And if this message is speaking to your soul, hit that like button and subscribe because we are just getting started. This is more than a video. It's a reminder that your value isn't determined by who stays or who walks away. It's determined by you. Up next, we'll explore something equally magnetic, the shift in energy. Because sometimes it's not what you say that brings someone back. It's the silence that speaks louder than words. Stay tuned. Next, we will discuss an important yet invisible force, the shift in energy that completely changes how a woman sees you after she once rejected you. 2. Shift in energy. You may not realize it at first, but energy is not just a vibe. It's communication without words. It's your body language, your confidence, your focus, your emotional state. When a woman first rejected you, she may have sensed neediness, over-attachment, or even a quiet desperation, no matter how composed you seemed on the surface. Women are biologically wired to read emotional signals. They notice subtle shifts. Research in behavioral psychology suggests that nearly 93% of communication is nonverbal. That means it wasn't just what you said that led to her decision, it was how you felt when you said it. Now here's where things get powerful and where Stoicism comes in. When a man begins to live in his purpose, when he withdraws his emotional investment from someone who rejected him, he unconsciously shifts his entire energy field. He no longer carries the energy of, I need you to feel worthy. Instead, his presence radiates, I already am enough. That shift is magnetic. Women feel it, even from a distance. It's like suddenly becoming aware of a fragrance that was always there, but unnoticed until the moment the wind changed. This is not about playing hard to get. This is not manipulation. It's a transformation. When you let go of emotional chaos and stop overthinking what went wrong, you stop bleeding energy. And when you stop chasing energetically and physically, you create space, and space allows her curiosity to rise. Nature hates a vacuum. If you're no longer focused on her, she starts to wonder where your attention went. And in that silence, she reflects. That's when the tables turn. Studies in relationship dynamics show that over 70% of individuals who initiate breakups later experience doubts, especially when the other person moves on confidently. The doubt often arises not because they miss you exactly, but because the energetic shift shakes their sense of emotional control. She thought you'd always be there, orbiting her world, but now you're in your orbit. That shift makes her look again. Let's go even deeper. The truth is, most women don't consciously understand why they come back. It's not always a logical decision, it's emotional. It's energetic. When your focus returns to yourself, your life, your purpose, you glow differently. You no longer vibrate on the frequency of lack, but instead on the frequency of growth. That contrast is undeniable. You're no longer asking for her approval. You're too busy becoming the best version of yourself. And that is when she reappears. But remember, not all women come back for the right reasons. Some return simply because they feel the power they once had is slipping. Some come back to see if they still matter to you. Some return because they can sense you've detached, and the emotional hook they had no longer works. This is why Stoicism is essential. Stoicism teaches you to observe, not react emotionally. Just because she returns doesn't mean you open the door immediately. Instead, you evaluate. Is this return aligned with my peace, or is it a test of my growth? And let's be real, you've probably asked yourself, if she didn't want me before, why is she interested now? Great question. And if you've felt this or want to share your experience, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. You're not alone in this. Thousands of men are waking up to the truth that your energy is everything. When you stop chasing what rejected you and start nurturing what builds you, you reclaim your masculine frame. And when that energy shift happens, even the people who once overlooked you suddenly want access again. That's the irony of growth. The people who once didn't value your presence become curious about your absence. Let's not forget that, according to modern relationship studies, the post-breakup regret or return phase happens in roughly 30 to 40% of relationship scenarios. particularly when the man begins to thrive emotionally or physically after rejection. Women don't come back to a man they pity. They come back to a man they now respect. Respect grows when you level up, when your energy no longer seeks validation but expresses wholeness. That energy is rare, and in today's world, it's golden. So if you're sitting there wondering whether she'll ever regret rejecting you or whether she'll ever come back, remember this. It's not about her. It's about the energy you carry after her. Because the universe doesn't respond to begging energy. It responds to deserving energy. And when your energy shifts from desperation to direction, you won't even care if she returns because you'll be too focused on your mission. That's the beauty of the shift. You become so focused on becoming a man of substance that the world, including those who once left, begins to take notice. And at that point, whether she comes back or not, you have already won. If this resonated with you, hit that like button because it tells me this message is reaching the right hearts. And if you want more deep insights like this about Stoicism, masculine energy, and emotional growth, make sure to subscribe. This journey is just beginning. Next, we will discuss something extremely powerful and often misunderstood. The idea that silent confidence wins. 3. Silent confidence wins. This isn't about arrogance or playing cold-hearted mind games. It's about owning your energy so deeply that you don't need to say a single word to command respect, presence, and even desire. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't have to chase because his self-worth is rooted so firmly within him, not in someone else's approval. And here's the truth most won't tell you. The moment you stop begging for someone to stay is often the very moment they start wondering if they made a mistake by leaving. Why is that? Why do women often come back after rejecting a man who has now gone silent? Because in that silence, in that distance, a powerful message begins to form. A message that says, I am enough with or without you. And that message, that grounded energy, is unbelievably attractive. You see, confidence isn't loud. True confidence doesn't scream or explain. It just exists. It radiates through your calm, your focus, and your growth. It's there in the way you no longer react, no longer chase, and no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone, especially someone who chose to walk away. Statistics back this up. In a relationship psychology survey, 85% of women reported being more attracted to men who display emotional stability and self-control during and after a breakup, rather than desperation or dramatic gestures. That means it's not your texts, your please don't go messages, or even the gifts that pull her back. It's the transformation that begins the moment you choose peace over pursuit. When you go quiet, not out of pettiness, but out of power, you trigger something primal. You remind her of your value by embodying it. You don't need to say, look how strong I am. You just are strong, and that silence speaks volumes. Now ask yourself honestly, have you ever been in a situation where someone pulled away, but as soon as you stopped chasing and started focusing on yourself, they slowly started to come back around? Maybe you've already experienced it. If you have, comment below and share that moment because someone out there watching this might need to hear that they're not alone. This happens more than you think. Silent confidence causes an energy shift. It flips the entire script. Because when you're no longer looking for validation, you create mystery. You create space. You create an opportunity for them to miss you, the real you, not the version who was chasing, explaining, and begging. There's something else we need to understand here. Women are highly intuitive. They can feel when a man is trying to convince her to stay out of fear. And fear is unattractive. But when your silence is calm, when it's not a punishment but a reflection of inner peace, it feels like strength. It feels like certainty. And nothing is more attractive than a man who is certain about himself. Another study published in the Journal of Behavioral Science found that men who displayed nonverbal confidence and emotional control are 47% more likely to be perceived as desirable partners compared to those who consistently overexpress emotion or seek constant validation. You see, it's not just about acting indifferent. It's about genuinely knowing that you don't need to prove anything anymore. The most powerful version of you is the one who's too focused on growth to chase rejection. Because rejection doesn't define you, your reaction does. You can't always control who stays or who leaves, but you can control how you evolve in the silence that follows. And that evolution, that inner transformation, is what makes you magnetic. Not just to her, but to life itself. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about learning to control your response to them. It's about understanding that the only thing you truly control is yourself. So when she pulls away and you don't flinch, you are living out one of the deepest principles of masculine strength. You're saying, I do not break. I do not beg. I build. That kind of energy leaves a lasting impact. Even if she doesn't come back, the next person will feel that growth. She'll feel that you're not a man who needs her to feel worthy. You are already enough. And let's not forget that sometimes women test boundaries, even unconsciously. They want to see how you respond when you're rejected, how you handle distance. If your response is desperation, they lose interest. But if your response is self-respect and growth, that's when curiosity starts to spark. That's when she starts to question, did I overlook something real? Is he stronger than I realized? Is he becoming someone I wish I'd stayed with? These are not questions that get asked when you're texting her at 2 a.m. These are the questions that get asked in the space you create when you say nothing and build everything. Now you may be thinking, what if she never comes back? And the answer is, that's okay. Because the point isn't getting her back. The point is getting yourself back. And once you do, you'll never chase again. You'll attract better. You'll attract someone who meets you at your level. Someone who values the man who doesn't scream for attention because he doesn't need it. And if you're feeling that shift inside right now, if your energy is already starting to turn inward, toward yourself, then like this video. Subscribe if you're ready to stop chasing and start growing. Because this channel is for the ones who are done begging for love and are ready to become it. To those watching, remember this. The strongest energy is silent. It doesn't need to explain. It doesn't seek revenge. It simply evolves in silence. And evolution is what draws her back, not your words. But even if she never returns, you'll walk forward as a man who no longer chases love because he carries it within. And that is the win. In the end, it all comes down to who you become when things fall apart. When you master the power of detachment, you stop tying your worth to her presence and start reclaiming your own. Then, as your focus shifts inward, your energy naturally transforms. You no longer beg, chase, or prove. That shift in energy speaks louder than any words. And that's when the unexpected happens. She starts noticing, wondering. But it's not just the silence, it's the confidence inside that silence that wins. Silent confidence isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being grounded, calm, whole. It's the powerful stillness that whispers, I don't need you to feel enough. I already am. If she comes back, it's not by chance. It's because something in you changed. You stopped chasing love and started becoming it. So ask yourself, who are you becoming in this silence? If this video connected with something deep inside you, hit that like button, subscribe for more self-growth insights, and drop a comment if you've experienced this shift yourself. Thanks for watching. Your journey just got stronger.